Hello, 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 and welcome to another Daily Code Fun. I am One Mind. Scooch. Did I move everything around that I wanted to move around? I don't think so. Happy Friday to anyone who happens to be here. I hope you're all enjoying your day, whatever time it happens to be for you. Um, yes. Okay. So I have a fun thing. It's called Financial Management Tracker. Now, there's also other fun things going on that I would love to share at some point in time. I just don't feel ready for anything ever. There's so much going on. Maybe October 1 will be my commit to things date that I want to do. Of course, I wouldn't commit to anything that I don't want to do. I'm like trapping myself. Although there are things that I have done that I have trapped myself into, but still. Upper, yeah. We're opening up the financial management tracker so we can continue on with it. However, today is Community Day for anyone that might be interested in participating in Community Day. If you have any topics or projects that you would like to share with everyone, then I will invite you into Discord in a voice channel. Just hop into the stream waiting room, and then I will pull you into the stream room. Ooh, good question, Scott, and hello. Scott is asking, happy Friday and happy time zones. Or wait, I guess not really time zones. Whatever time it happens to be, essentially, Jim is saying. Jim FYYC. To everyone from Canada, Jim or Jim F. YYC equals Calgary, Alberta, Canada Airport Code. Got it. So it's just Jim or Jim F. I will call you Jim. And we will hopefully enjoy each other's company. Hope I'm not too annoying. I will also talk louder. I've been kind of mumbling a little bit, so I will adjust. I will get my output device changed to Realtek audio so you can hear anyone that comes in to the voice channel through the stream. So if you do happen to join the voice channel, your voice will carry over through the stream. And if, excuse me, I got something like right here that's just tickling my throat. If you have something to present, then I'll have to set up permissions and all that stuff, but I'll turn it on, and then you could share your screen in Discord, and then we can have that up on screen as well. The only thing I ask is that you keep it family friendly as far as the content that you share on your screen. No crazy shenanigans, please. Oh, cool. Who it was. And thank you for being here. We have been working through a full stack development project using Blazor from beginning to end, everything from designing all the way through development, and we will get to deployment eventually. If you feel like sharing who it was, please do. Perhaps it's someone that I watch and enjoy supporting. I love supporting other developers on Twitch. I am currently watching a playback for, actually I'm going to stop the playback, but this is one of the things that I'm excited about. Deflux introduced me to a HoloLens AR development streamer. So I'm catching up on his videos because I am very, very interested in that content. The other exciting part of that is that I will be, I set up, you're not going to see much on it. It just, whoa, where am I, by the way? Hello? Oh no, where am I? That's Nom Noms. Those are my cameras. I don't know where I am. I shouldn't have been messing with that today. I usually have video down here in the bottom right corner. Am I on the right scene? It was Coding with Scott. I love Coding with Scott. He's an awesome, awesome person. Glad he comes to our community. Very nice. I will allow it. Oh, good grief. I think I know Coding with Scott, says Scott. Yeah, he's been here a few times. Soft isn't Software is here. Duke is Soft is here. Hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to share a thing, but my camera seems to be Baroque. Deactivate, reactivate, maybe. XSplit, what are you doing, man? What are you doing, camera? Yeah, XSplit is definitely showing up for me, but my camera is not actually oh, I think I know what happened. Transform center to screen. Cripes. Transform. What's a good way to do this? What is a good way to do this? I need to close this and this. Yes. And actually, those don't need to be there. Look, I'm in the middle now. Why am I in the middle? I will fix this. I will fix this. I hope. Wait, wait. No, that's alert browsers. Oh my gosh. I cannot click on anything at the moment. I'll fix this. This is my site. No, I was messing with my OBS settings. Ooh, he's turning tiny. And one of the things that I was messing with happened to be my camera, which was a bad idea. Okay, so this, actually, let me do it like this. We will set cameras to fit to the window. Transform, fit to screen. Take my XSplit camera. You're gonna see a big head soon. Why aren't you actually in the top left corner though? Why are you being weird? Okay, and then I will stretch. Whoa, that made me dizzy. This is such weird. Okay, is it alert browsers that's being weird? Okay, then I will put my camera back inside of here. I will make this smaller so that I can be back down here in the... Oh my goodness, what's happening now? No, the camera. Oh my goodness, I don't know how to do this. Let's see. Transform, fit to screen. That means that you are no longer flipped, which you need to be flipped currently. Dang. Okay, you go there. You go inside of camera group. Camera group, you resize. There you go. That's better, camera group. And then I can scooch this over. And now by the magic of television, it didn't work. Oh my goodness. Oh, I see what's wrong. Okay, that's why I couldn't select it, because I had it locked. Good move though. Very smart locking it like that. Okay, so camera's still flipped. I am in the bottom corner. Everything is back to normal. Looks good. Ship it. Have you tried turning everything off and on again? I have. Like 80 times. I can do it. I can do it 9 times. All right, now I can lock that. You are good to go. You stay locked. You stay there. Don't move. Don't move. Okay, so this scene here is going to be a very magical scene because when the sun shines, we'll shine together. I plan on, after finishing my current project, which is going smoothly, it is like not the financial management one that we've been doing on stream, but my client project that I'm doing for work has been going smoothly. I'm integrating things. Everything seems to be moving along at a good pace. I'm hooking into the existing software so that I can run the functionality for things like opening or getting your system information, like what type of processor do you have, what speed is it currently running at, what's the temperature of the GPU, of the CPU, all of that information. So I can get that now using the pre-existing code, and it's being displayed in the new UI that I put together for them. So once that's done, then I am pretty sure by that time I will be able to join the metaverse group. It's kind of an R&D group at the company that I work for, and put a lot more time and effort into learning .NET or learning .NET. I wish I could learn .NET. Put a lot more time into learning AR, XR, all of that fun stuff, because that's what I'm really, really super duper interested in. My HoloLens is sitting over there, but this morning I just wanted to try it real quick, so I hooked up my video viewer to OBS. And so this scene here, when it's ready, will have my view from the HoloLens in the middle of the screen, and all of the content that we'll be putting together and learning. But for now, we're going to keep going with this financial management tracker because it's something that I've wanted for a long time. Like, I have an Access database that is my financial management tracking system, where I enter things that I paid for, what my current, and I get to view what my current balances are, and then budget based off of that, and see if there are things that I need to cut back on, if there are things that I can afford, kind of thing. So we're making that into a web app, and so this is as far as we've gotten so far. Yes, absolutely. But yeah, there are just so many things going on at work that something has to slow down soon, and it will. The other thing that I completely forgot is Monday is a holiday in the US, so I will not be streaming on Monday. I will use that day to completely finish up the remaining Microsoft Learn courses that I need to do, and also schedule my certification exam so that I can be ready and then review anything that I need to up until the actual exam. Because, oh my goodness, I need to get that done so it's off of my plate. That's one of the things that's causing a lot of stress for me, is needing to schedule a certification exam. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. But that's okay. Dukasoft, thank you so much for putting up the project command. So that tells us what we're currently working on. I guess which project we're working on. What we are currently working on for the project is this transactions table, just kind of sketching it out. Once again, we aren't trying to put data in there. We aren't trying to get it 100% correct. We don't have all of the right icons yet that we want to use for this. So Wasm, Finance Wasm, yeah, server.net watch, or .net stare for those of you that know that, which I will allow. Have you tried clicking on it? So what is everyone up to? Of those of you that feel like answering, there is absolutely no requirement for you to ever respond to me. If I ask something, it's just in general, and I don't want to make you feel like, if you're in the middle of doing stuff, you have to drop what you're doing and look over and pay attention to the stream. I would like for you to be comfortable. Hang out with us. Enjoy your time here. So you can see sorting is working just fine. Moving on as quickly as I can before I get stuck on that. We implemented sorting by clicking on the column header. We're only allowing sorting by one column at a time. It looks like the little column resize thing that I was starting to set up. Oh, awesome, Dukasoft. Well, I hope you enjoy your company. I don't know. I don't know how social of a person you are. So if it's something that you're looking forward to, I hope it goes really well. If it's something that you dread, I hope it goes quick and painless. Oh, yes, he did. And I was about to answer, but then you came in. Thank you for pointing that out, Jim. Oh my gosh. So Jim reminded me that Scott asked earlier if I prefer code first or DB first. And then he said, me and my CTO talked a little bit about it. Cool. So yes, I do prefer code first at the moment. When I first started with Entity Framework, which was 2017 maybe, I didn't use Entity Framework in the Employment Services app, did I? I don't think I started using Entity Framework until I started at the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, which was 2017. I think I had just gotten started with it just before I started working for them. So yeah, anyway, it was EF6, and I absolutely loved the EDMX files. I loved it. Oh, that's a good command, Jim. Thank you. I will write that down. Job. Where is my bot notes? Where are my bot notes? Where they are commands. Day job versus not day job. Okay, here are my commands. Let me put bang job. But I currently work for Sajetti. Dukasoft is currently unemployed was the response. So I'll tell you about that in a second, Scott. I currently work at Sajetti, which is a consulting firm, and they take on clients across the world. So it's an international company. I work for Sajetti USA. I need to give my disclaimer that all of my views and opinions are my own and may not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Sajetti, just so you know. But I am, like, my official title is senior consultant, but the type of work that I do is software engineering. So I do a lot of software development. I started in May, and I've been working on the same client project since I started. SOGETI, Sogetti, which is a subsidiary of Capgemini. Capgemini? But so I've been working on this project. It's been fun, and the client that we have wants to keep me on the team so that I can continue providing services for them, making more alterations to the existing application. There is currently a team that is working on maintaining the existing application. So Jetty sounds fast. Love it. Okay, so EDMX is electronic dance music extreme. No, they are the files that were generated when you did a database first using EF6, Entity Framework 6, and they gave you a nice little, what you're used to seeing for ER diagrams that you could interact with, and that's where you would make the changes, or that's where you would see the changes happening to your data structure. And so you would just constantly have that syncing to your database. You would make changes to your database tables that would sync into this EDMX file, and the EDMX file would generate all of your models. I think it's done that way. But it was so good. All right, Dukasoft, thank you so much for the lurk. I hope it turns out the way that you are expecting it to, in the best way possible. So anyway, they would show you all of, even like the stored procedures that were available in your database. So all of your database objects for your database first project, entity framework project. And I was so afraid, not but, and I was so afraid of moving over to code first because I'm like, I have a tool that generates all of the models for me with the correct data types. I don't know how to get started. I don't know how to set up a database context. I didn't even know what a database context was when I was first starting with that, obviously. But now that I've been doing so much database work, um, for all of those projects. So if you remember, when I used to work for the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, I was on a team of two, me and a junior developer, where we maintained a massive amount of applications. Some of them shared databases. Some of them had their own database for that specific, or all of them had at least one database that was specific to just that application. And so all of these applications had one database NuGet repository. So I would do the code first database migrations. I changed it from database first to code first by reverse engineering the existing database structure and then using those models in a code first database by adding a new migration that was called initial create, and then manually adding that EF migrations table to each of the databases. And from there, all of the changes to the database were made code first. And I absolutely love that approach. So at the moment, I really, really, really love code first. Long answer for a short question. I prefer code first currently, is the short answer. And Prog Testing says, hello, fellow spaghetti coders. Hello, Prog Testing. Yeah, but if you feel like discussing any of that, we can continue in chat or in the voice channel. So the voice channel is now accepting visitors. Just hop into a stream waiting room and your voice will come through on stream when you start talking in there. So if you're not comfortable with that, just talk to me in chat. And I will respond to you there. And I'll pay more attention to chat today than I usually do, which I usually try to read every message in chat, just because I do. Prog Testing wants to know what we're discussing. So we were talking about database first versus code first, just what preferences are when using Entity Framework. So it was just a quick opinion question. And I will continue on with what I was doing. Fork and spoon the spaghetti code. Twisty. Fork it. Spoon it. Noodle coders. I'm still trying to make sure that I pay attention to the music so that when that pineapple song shows up again, which it's not going to anytime soon, then I will actually be able to catch it and thumb it down. Okay. So I think that we have the basics of the styles set up for these pages, which is good. You can see that I'm reusing the same transaction history. So let's continue on. Let's start looking at maybe adding the functionality for the payments. When you add a line item, it should show up in this list of line items. Can we go ahead and start getting the data from the database? No, because I don't have any data in the database, so I still need to mock that data. So we'll just use the fakes that we currently have for adding line items. Prog Testing says, I am learning pandas, but you have pandas for F#. So I circumvented using Python. Jim says, whatever works. If you don't mind answering again, I don't want to obligate you to answer and make you feel like you have to. But what kind of software dev? Because it sounds like you are a software dev, Jim, but what kind of dev do you do? Or do you just like watching us struggle, win, fail? All of the above. None of the above. Other. My favorite answer. Other. Coffee is what I like to do. Okay, let's go over to our payment entry grid. That's the SAS. Good. You found the SAS file. Congratulations. Cool. The actual payment entry razor, which I don't think I actually need to open that, but it's there. Prog testing said, do you see the screenshot? I did see the screenshot. I didn't pay attention to it really, but it shrank by about 2/3. What's this? Well, I guess now your internet is faster, but I was going to say, what's the startup time of your project when it's deployed compared to what it used to be? But yeah, because that's the thing that seems to be like, obviously it's going to go faster because the size is smaller. But the actual startup time for the application after it's been downloaded, that's kind of another thing that sounds like has been a pain point for at least Blazor WebAssembly, for major adoption of Blazor WebAssembly. Because like right now, I don't know if I'm imagining things, but my version of the application, which currently we are on 1.8.2 of the production application. Yeah, okay. So all that I have to do is get rid of the loading text and it would look the same. So never mind. Never mind. Slow as syrup with Azure. Aw, that's sad. But my Maui application, or I guess it's still just a WPF application that has a Blazor Web View, the actual loading time takes a little bit because it needs to set up all of the system calls and everything for communicating with the operating system and getting resources and all of that. But when that stuff is done and the actual page is trying to load, it still takes about, I'd say, 0.6 to 1 second before the content displays in the actual app. So you'll see the splash screen and then the window will pop up. The window will only pop up after all of the system loading has finished. So the window will pop up and it'll stay blank for anywhere between a half second and 1 second, which I think is too long. You should be able to see content in the window as soon as the window shows up. So either I'm going to need to tell it not to show the window until the first render happens, so that I can at least give the illusion that the app loads fast, other than, you know, sitting on the splash screen for that extra second or so. Or I need to make some static content that will show up while the application is loading, since it will always start on the same screen. And that screen, I would just essentially, you know how you have your index.html, and I've been thinking about doing this for a while. This is kind of what I would want to do. Our current landing page looks like this. So the thing that I would want to do to make it look like it is loading faster than it actually is in my HTML, in my www.root index.html, or if we're doing Blazor server, then this would be the underscore layout.cshtml. Oh man, would it? No, that would just load right away, so we wouldn't even need to worry about it there. I'm looking for the actual app. Blazor Web, WASM, www.root index. And in place of just doing this loading, I would essentially have the static version of the app I wonder how it's going to handle these styles when there's no isolated CSS to load either. I might actually need an entire hero section loading by itself. Let me get rid of all of these. And where is sign in? Is this the sign in? This is the sign in. So I would get rid of that as well. And so what would happen is when it takes a while to load, of course, yeah, so the style for the hero would need to be updating the height, but you can see that it looks like the app just loaded like any other app, even though it's still loading the WASM portion of it. You know that it's loaded the WASM app when the login actually shows up. But yeah, that's not bad in my opinion. All I have to do is just set the height. That's it. And I think it's because I don't have this login here that the height is not actually getting set. So I would want to cheat. And say, here it is, login from wrapper. So like right now, let's just say that I manually set the height to 302.609 pixels, just to see what happens. Hero. Where did I delete that from? Okay, so here, and this would be, actually, you know what? No, I would still rather have it. Ooh, I know what I could do. I could leave it like this and then just do style equals visibility hidden. And that way it still takes up the full height that it would normally take up, but you wouldn't be able to see it. There we go. And then it would appear. And then when we have it appear, of course, we would just have it appear in a more kind of fading in kind of way. But yeah, so that makes it to where nothing jumps around, nothing does weird stuff, and the page just loads almost like the app was starting right away. I would also make sure that these links are just static links to other static sites. The third thing that I was thinking of is this is actually my landing page that's server rendered because I have a hosted backend, and this would be provided by Blazor using Razor Pages. So over here in my hosted backend, I would have pages. Actually, I would have areas, pages. And essentially, this would be my identity page. This would be my main landing identity page. And that way, when it's loading, the loading part of it will be the logging in, but there will be an entire, yeah, that's hard for me to want to do because the whole point is to make this available offline as well. So I don't think I want to do that. So I'm liking this approach for now, so we're going to go with it. Yay! Like I said, I want to get this functionality working where when you select an item and you put in an amount, it does validation on this, and then you click add. The functionality is already there. What? Oh my goodness, thank you so much for the follow, TX USDXI. How would I pronounce that? Tshuschi? Shuschi? Or just TX? I can call you TX. Your preference, not mine. Prog testing was talking about some. Go up here. You there. Cool. Boop, 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 boop. Pasta. Deleted. Okay, so prog testing was saying, and the SEO problem has been handled by Microsoft, so they are listening to my prayers. Maybe Microsoft is God. Maybe not. Maybe they do have some form of superpowers and stuff, but no. Just no. What happens when we add more? More. Give me more. More. Haha, I knew there was going to be an error because I don't have any validation on here. Yeah. So point is, it's there. Right, I remember we got the sticky header and sticky footer set up. Not super cleanly, but it's there. Maybe demigod. I could agree with that. I could agree with that. So let's make sure that we don't try to add any of these line items unless and until you have filled in the proper fields. Oh no. Product testing wants to know what kind of dev Jim does. My question was completely voluntary, but apparently that wasn't good enough. Okay. So line item type needs to be validated, is what I am saying. So how do we want to approach this? Should we use Fluent validation, or should we just use the regular data annotations and stuff? Because I'm using an edit form and I have data annotations validator, we should be able to. Oh man, can't wait for C# 7. Well, I mean, I guess I can, because if I couldn't wait for C# 7, I would be using Visual Studio Preview at the moment. But having the required attribute, or not attribute, what are these called? So this is the accessibility modifier. Would this still just be another modifier? Or visibility modifier? Would this just be another modifier? It'd probably be called a modifier, the required modifier. But anyway, for now, we'll just use data annotations. I wonder if when you use the required, I'm pretty sure, gosh, I'm interrupting myself a lot. I'm pretty sure that Mad showed this, but when you use required in .NET 7, if it actually also honors or treats it as the required data annotation. I don't know. Pay EID isn't what I'm looking for, though. I'm looking for a line item view model. Oh, man. I started doing that, didn't I? That should be fine. I'm kind of wanting to go away from this. Now that I've started it, I don't want to do this. So I'm going to quit. All right, guys, bye. Did I actually finish my statement about Monday? Monday, no stream, holiday, US. Yeah, I did, because then I said my plan. Jim is saying, I'm learning C# and I do various projects in a variety of technologies. Simple website, updates for a client right now, mostly content and layout for them. Have done SCADA. I don't know what SCADA is. I know what Scala is. But I have done SCADA, or SCADA, or however it's pronounced, hardware and software in C++, etc. That's awesome. That's really cool. Welcome in. I hope you are enjoying your time here. Okay, so that's required and that's required. You will build. The problem with this is I need to manually invalidate this thing. So like what I would really like to do is, I don't even know if this is possible. So let's explore. That's what we're here for. I would like to know can we have an edit form inside of an edit form? That sucks. If I wrap this in an edit form, then I will break myself. I will break my styling. Poop. Oops, I did that backwards. Whatever. So this would be an edit form on my new line item. Product testing was following up with superb. How do you find doing web stuff in relation to hardware stuff? Jim says, I like both. I'm a hobbyist with Arduino. I used to be a hobbyist with Arduino. In fact, this notebook is all about learning Arduino to find out how I can put my dream AI on it, essentially. I keep looking at this book. I want to get back to this. There's so much information in here that was like, did I really get that far into it? But anyway, Arduino STM32, I don't know what that one is, and some Raspberry Pi. Live coding says hardware scares me and I think my fear is healthy. For example, smoke test for hardware is actual smoke. So the child content of component edit form uses the same parameter. That's okay, we can change that. Context equals new line item, sure. And that builds. So here's what I'm thinking. So that I don't break my styles, because right now the line item input is inside of another container. So it's not the grid that is applied to this outer one is not going to affect it. And it'll have its own grid inside, which I think is fine. If we took our grid definition for the page itself, for the data entry portion of the page, we did a copy for that. Copy. Copy. What am I thinking? Copy value. Copy what I have selected. Just Control C. Gosh, brain. And then I went down here to this form and we gave it the same styles. Ugh. Oh, right. Then I'd have to give it grid template rows or grid template columns. But only, oops, apps, no, I did that wrong. Undo, pasta. That is this one. Oh, come on. There. Okay, so I don't know, that would still work. But that would mean that oh, which I guess I can just make that a mixin at the beginning of this file and put it on both. The alternative to this that I was thinking of was moving the edit form. So let me actually just copy all this real quick so that I don't lose it. Was moving this edit form up here, up here, up here, up here, mage. And that way, it's just pretty much two nested forms that will get generated. Oh, that's bad. Uh, just select. There you go. Okay, so I have this outer form and then I have this inner form. And so the outer form would handle adding stuff into here, which I don't know from a structural standpoint, it doesn't really make sense to have it there, but at the same time, it makes it easier to style everything versus having the same grid styles applied to this outer form and the inner form. Ooh, Protesting said, I had a dream once of becoming an IoT dev. And then Jim responded to live coding saying, use simulators, tinkercad.com. You can use links in here, by the way. Wokwe, W-O-K, Wokwe, I guess, .com, Wokwe, etc. And then Jim said to Protesting, same, you can simulate hardware using those sites. Yeah, so I really like the Arduino development. I don't know what to call it. It's just an entire development environment as well as the language. It's an IDE as well as the device is what I'm trying to say. That was a really good experience. And this was like back in 2012, maybe 2013. It was a 2009 that I had. Okay, so moving on. I'm gonna go with this approach just because it feels better for me. Oh, there is a problem. So the problem is that now I would also need to specify an on valid submit. I have a better idea. Wakata. Instead of wrapping them both inside of a nested edit form, I will use my one edit form and I will have a handle valid submit that will handle both submitting a detail here I wonder what order it triggers in. Let's find out. So let's do a handle valid submit. Or on valid submit, sorry. On valid submit is going to be handle form submit. Oops, F12 done the wrong thing. Go down here. Nope. Let's create a private. It's going to eventually need to be a task. So I'll create it as a task. It will need the edit context. And then in the end, it'll return task.completed task. Okay, and what I want to do is console write line valid submit. But it's not going to be valid submit because, oh man, oh my gosh, I'm thinking too hard suddenly. Let's turn this off. Instead, what you are going to do is set a flag. Private rule is add detail. And then we'll set it to true. Console write line is adding line item. And that way I can make a decision up here based off of if is add detail. This will just handle submitting the line item. Yeah, but I need to know what order these get fired in. And this probably just needs to be a regular submit because I don't want it to validate it until, because like part of the validation is going to be the line item stuff where I have line item type ID is required, except when submitting the actual object itself. Oh, dang. Yeah, the problem is it's not going to validate the new line item. It's going to validate new payment. So that's not going to work the way that I was thinking it was going to work. Floppy pants, man. Floppy pants. So never mind this. Oof. Um, my commands will be getting replaced soon. I have finally actually like what 2 weeks ago now started working on my bot, but I have a lot of the normal stream elements commands, and then here are all of the stream elements commands that I pulled over into my bot. So there are only three that the bot handles for me: massage peen, bang SO, and bang shoutout. Otherwise, my bot handles it. Stream elements handles those three and the regular built-in stream elements commands. But yeah, this is the list of commands. So pretty soon I'll have the bot tell you what commands you can use. Pretty soon, he says, when I get to that. So I've been super focused on my current job as well as the new initiative, the what are they called? Um, you'll find something that works eventually. Um, the Sagetti, the company that I work for, is currently pursuing another client, and I've been put on a team that is helping put together the response, the presentation to give to that client to be like, you want to use us, trust me. So I've been busy with that, and then I've been busy studying for the AZ204 certification that I'll be taking, certification exam that I'll be taking soon. And then I have jury duty on the 19th, and I also mentioned that I will be getting into that AR um, initiative at Sagetti. So recently, Unity partnered with Capgemini, and so now we have a certification course essentially that that they put on. Gosh, I can't word right now. You can't make me word. Position fixed. Instead of width 100, this needs to be left 0, right 0. Yeah, that way I can close it when I need to. Okay, I'm going to do that real quick. I need to fix that. Yes, juggling and spinning plates right now. But it's so weird because I was going along, like I said, I started this job in May and I jumped right into it. I was starting to do a lot of the UI development stuff that I was asked to do, or not really asked, tasked with. And that was fun and it was going smoothly and it felt like this is what I'm focusing on, this is what I'm doing. And then I got asked to help with that pursuit. And while I enjoy it because it's a cool project, I think we should try to get it if we can. Um, it's still just like I want to do my dev work. Oops. Getting a Unity gig, even if it's pure corporate training VR or whatever sounds interesting. Yeah. So stream your jury duty. Yes. I was super like my career counselor lady is she's just on top of it. She heard me when we had our initial conversation about, here's my interest, here are the goals that I have with what I want to learn, the technologies I want to use, and she heard it. And like I'm sure she is the counselor for about 100 or so employees, but either she took good notes or she just remembered. Because she put me in contact with the project lead for the Sagetti USA's Metaverse Lab. And, we've been talking back and forth and emailing back and forth. And I'm like, man, this is an opportunity that I did not expect to get at Sagetti. I was expecting, work on maybe one project for longer than I should, and then maybe have another project eventually in a technology that I don't like JavaScript frameworks or something. But it really has been do Maui, do Blazor Dev as your primary project. Join this team where we're trying to, win business because that will help you in your Sagetti performance reviews and all of that stuff. So I'm like, why not? And then here's this other initiative that we're doing in this field that you said you're interested in learning about. And we have training programs, we have certifications that you can take. And I was like, what? So I'm kind of not just kind of glad, I'm really glad that I sucked at my Google interview. Um, I didn't do it on purpose. I fell apart when I was interviewing. It was bad. But I'm also happy for all of these amazing opportunities. Opportunities. Moving on. Moving on. I'm hoping, I don't remember when he streams, but I'm hoping we might be able to, at the end of my stream, raid over to Solipsis because he's been doing AR dev on his actual stream. And that's where I'll hang out once he starts streaming today. So he streams on Fridays. But I can't guarantee his level, but I can say that I really enjoyed watching last Friday's stream. Um, He is scheduled to start at 1, which is 30 minutes after I finish streaming. 1 my time, that is. Okay, so we probably won't be able to rate him, but that's where I'll be hanging out after the stream. Just so you know. And that was at Solo Solipsis. Solipsist. I think he pronounces it solipsist. It's his company. Oh, you will allow me to do that, Automated Roams. If you won't, Stream Elements will. I really need to get that turned on. The other thing that's been happening is my email has been getting full of Microsoft recruiting. Thank you for your interest. We've enjoyed getting to know you, but we're not going to select you because you suck. It's like, okay, sure. I didn't expect to have the opportunities that I have while I'm here, so I think I'm gonna slow down on my attempting to get into Microsoft at the moment because I'm really enjoying the opportunities that I have currently. I'm loving it. Da 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 da. Ducky Captain. Ducky Captain. Let me show you a Captain Duck, or a Captain with a duck. It's another one of our good friends, Captain Commerce. He usually streams on Mondays and Fridays, and sometimes throughout the week. Okay, I haven't gotten anything done. I completely undid everything that I was doing because the whole point is I need something that's going to validate only this portion. Only the section that I am doing all of my line item input. And the problem that I was going to face with this approach is when I do submit on either of these two buttons, so both of my buttons would then turn into submit buttons, it wouldn't know which one I am trying to submit to. So I'm wondering if I can specify that. So let's say that I have an on submit. No, I wouldn't even have an on submit. I would just have two handlers back here. One for handle payment submit. And I will have one for private task handle line item submitted. And I'll still provide the edit context. Edit context. I wouldn't even do that. No. I think this might work. We're going to try going down this route instead. So let's return task completed task. And up here we'll have two edit forms. One for the payment entry edit form. Make it nullable. And one for the line item entry edit form. So then we will say at ref equals payment entry edit form. Too lazy to type it out. So at ref equals line item entry edit form. Cool. And so then this will actually be handle add data clicked, or add add detail clicked. And then this one way down here is going to be a button that is on click handle payment submitted. And that way this one will try, and I'll need to look this up, but this one will try to do my if payment entry edit form is null, go away, return task completed task. Else we need to validate the model on payment. So if not, I'm going to assume that there's some kind of validate. Edit context, validate. Look what I found. Okay, so I'm going to null check both the edit form reference and the edit context from that edit form. So now we can try a validate, and what validate should do is if it does not validate, then we should get our data annotations validator showing us what errors happened. And then I will add in our, what are they? Are they spans? Are they validation messages? I need the validation summary. So validation message for, and then we would do something like this. Is this the right syntax? For should be a lambda. Okay. What did I break? Why are you completely angry at me? Why is this? Why are you angry? Cannot convert a lambda expression to intended delegate because some of the return types in the return block are not explicitly convertible to the delegate. Right. So this is once again the issue of having two nested edit forms. Let me get it started with just one edit form, and then we'll find out what to do. What to do about it. Payment. All right, so excuse me for a minute. Por favor. Okay. Validation message. You are just spam. Not really spam. They're telling us to protect our passwords, which I guess is necessary. PDEI. PDEI dot. Wow, that's still not going to work. Transaction date. Okay, again, I don't really use edit forms, so I am obviously doing this wrong. So let's look it up. Blazor edit form validation message, please. Show me an example, please. Here's my input type text, bind to example model dot name, and now our example of validation message. Still looking for a validation message. There's our validate. Where's my validation message? Okay, so whatever the model happens to be, that's the thing that we do arrows on. So is that not what mine currently looks like? Validation message for empty params, and then my model. Oh, apps. Never mind. So then we can have this. Yes. And this won't break anything. Mayhap. Mayhap it's true. Okay, so you will get a validation message. And you will get a validation message. Have I missed anything? I may have missed a thing, but that's okay. Ooh, thank you, Zuris. That's what I missed. A follow. Thank you, Zuris, for the follow. Really appreciate you being here. Welcome to the Daily Code Fun. If you have just arrived, I am a .NET developer that has been working in .NET for a while. You're trying to be a .NET dev. Awesome, you're in the right place. We love encouraging people to explore and pursue software development of any type, but specifically .NET development. I think it is one of the best robust development experiences that you'll ever have. You know some C Sharp and SQL, and you know some C Sharp, and you do know SQL. You already have a lot of the tools that you need then. Is there a specific type of industry that you want to be in? Because C Sharp and SQL together, you can get into so many industries. One major one is corporations and enterprises that have legacy applications that need to be modernized or just maintained even. Cool. That should be good for those. But yeah, are you into game dev? Are you into web development? Are you into desktop stuff? Are you into AR and VR experiences? Anything more tech-based looks good, or finance. Well, welcome in. If you feel like it, you can participate in our little project that we are working on the stream, which is a financial management tracker. Haha, Dukasoft is off being a human, which is weird. So I had to type it myself. So all that I'm doing is showing a full stack web development project. I used to stream my entire workday, but I moved jobs and I'm not able to do that anymore. So I stream 2 hours a day, and we are just working on a new project from beginning to end. And when I say beginning, I mean we started from the initial idea idea brainstorming and discussing what we want the application to do. Then we moved into some of the design stuff, which is figuring out, well, I guess I may as well open it since you said that you are into SQL. Open this one, bring it over here. I apologize for the wonderful, beautiful font in this that Dukasoft has been asking for since 1812. So we came up with, or I showed a rough diagram of what my normal project structure is for these types of applications. We thought about some of the objects that we were going to have in the database and what kind of database we're going to use, and it will be a SQL Server database, but it's using Entity Framework, so you should technically be able to plug in just about any relational database. This is our sketched out ER diagram. And then we sketched out some UI and some screens. Then we created the repo at some point in time during that, filled in all of the information, set up the project structure, and did some sketching of the UI, what we maybe wanted it to look like, some color palettes that we might choose from, and we ended up going with this theme, at least for now. Colors are subject to change. I don't like this kind of greenish. I mean, it makes sense for a financial app now that I'm looking at it more, and I say this every time, but I don't really like how much green came through on it. I prefer blue. I prefer blue a lot. So that's what we put together. So now we're just kind of sketching out a lot of the UI itself in Blazor, but mostly we talk. Mostly we just chat. I'm pretty terrible at staying on task because I like hanging out with you guys and I like talking with you. But we have gotten quite a bit done. So we've sketched out all of the screens that the app has so far, starting from this homepage. Not my homepage, this homepage, which is kind of just a landing page. No, you're good. You are absolutely good. Today is community day. So on Fridays, I like to pay more attention to chat than I usually do. Eventually, I'll get more structured community days going where I'll actually have a topic that we'll discuss. It used to be more involved than it is now, but it kind of died down a little bit. But we usually talk about one focus topic, have a pretty big discussion about it, and then every other day I'm just working on the app and talking with you guys. But our landing page looks okay. It's definitely, it has the structure that I wanted it to have, where we have a hero section and then our main content and then our sitemap at the bottom. If I was starting again with .NET, how would I learn it? Now that I know about these resources, I would start with just anything I can get my hands on that is teaching me the basics of C#. There's an 8-hour course on YouTube. Am I going to remember? It's probably in my developer playlist. Developers, this one. C# Fundamentals for Beginners. I started watching a little bit of it just to see if the approach that the presenter was taking was something that I would recommend to other people, and as it turns out, it is. How do I get your share? I did not know that I don't really learn well in formal education. So I did pretty bad at university. I mean, I graduated eventually, but it was a struggle. Apparently, the way that I learn best is by consuming tons and tons of stuff that is focused on either the whole broad beginning to end thing so I can be exposed to it, and then deep diving into one thing at a time. So the next thing that I would do is run through tutorials that I find that help me do the project that I think of. So yeah, I said that backwards. I would start with learning fundamentals for C Sharp, for .NET, consuming all of the materials and stuff that I can about .NET. Then I would think about what kind of project do I want to make with this, and then try to make that project. And as I'm trying to make the project, then I would do a tutorial on whatever the thing that I'm starting with is, which would be creating a new C# web project. And I would find Blazor, and I'd be like, Blazor is amazing. So I want to learn how to do Blazor. So I'd follow some Blazor tutorials. I'd do the tutorial once, watch the entire tutorial once. Then I would follow along with the tutorial. Then I would try to do the tutorial on my own, referencing back to the tutorial whenever I got stuck or forgot how to do a thing. Then I would do it one more time without looking back at the tutorial until I am like, I'm doing the exact same tutorial without needing to reference it. Just because that's how I learn. Then I would try to branch off from that tutorial and be like, okay, here is how I can maybe modify what they're doing to serve my purpose. So let's say I was trying to make a to-do list or a bug tracker is a pretty good project. Um, yeah. Then I would try to turn that to-do list tutorial into my bug tracker. I would watch videos on Entity Framework now that I know what that is, but I'd be like, what do I use to connect to the database? And I would find Entity Framework, learn about that, get confused, get unstuck, connect with the community, all of that stuff. So that's my answer to how I would relearn .NET from the start, knowing the resources that I have available at the moment. Cool. Zuri says, I think I'm the same. Learn the foundation, then dig into a project and Google as you need help. Yep. If you're looking for a good Blazor tutorial course, there's a good one on Pluralsight from Patrick God. He is really good. The salaries for .NET devs are kind of all over the place. So I'm in Denver, Colorado, and we have anything ranging from 70K to 160 to 180 for most senior level. US dollars, of course, which is something like, I don't know what that would be. 40K, well, what did I say? 70K or 60K? Somewhere between 40 and 50K, 50 quid. 40 and 50,000 sterling, GBPs, whatever it's called, to 140. I don't know maths, man. I'll do the maths real quick. There, if we started at 60,000, then that would be 51,000 sterling. Yeah, that. And then let's say we went to the highest end. That'd be somewhere around 153. Yeah, I was close. I wasn't that far off. I mean, the low end I was, but the high end was pretty close. Like 60K is pretty hard to live off of in my area. It's not that the cost of living is super high here, it's the cost of housing and taxes and all of that stuff is pretty high in our area. Do, 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 do. Okay, F12. There we are. It's more like around 40 to 80K. Is that, did you already do the translation to US dollars? Yeah, top end is way, way off. Okay, so that's GBP. So about 100K US. Yeah. Yeah, it's really it's really expensive here. If you were in California, double that number for dev work. In the US. No more add detail. Add detail goes away. Cool. So this should do what I want it to do. When we go down here, so feel free to keep talking. I will continue talking with you. Um, yeah. Return task completed task. Okay, cool. So what I did here is we have a Razor page. Razor component is actually what these are. And what that allows me to do is write HTML and C#. So you can see my actual C# objects. So I have a new payment object that has this payee ID. And these ones that are in this kind of tealish green color, these are components that are defined elsewhere. So I have some custom components myself, but the ones that I'm using here are ones that come with Blazor. And what they do is they render HTML. So this thing would render an input type text. Actually, sorry, this is a select element. This renders to this thing here, which is a select element that has all of these options. And when I select one of those options, it takes the value of what I selected and puts it into my new payment.payeeid. And it does that without needing to go back to the server. So this is really exciting for a lot of web developers because in order to do that without refreshing the page and binding to a C# object, you would need to use JavaScript essentially to do all of this, not even JavaScript either. It could be a HTML form, and then when you submit that form, then that's done as a post, but you would either use JavaScript to do an AJAX request or yeah, I'll just call it Ajax. An XHR request, XHR to the server as a post, and then get back the response from the server, and then take action based off of that if you wanted to do it without refreshing the page. For regular .NET type stuff like ASP.NET web pages, it would do a post back. So when you hit submit for the form, it actually does a post and then redirects you back to the same page. And then that would mean that if you tried using the back button, it'd be like you're trying to resubmit this data, all of that stuff. So Blazor does it in this way where you can bind to your C# object and then click a submit button and use a HTTP request, at least using Blazor WebAssembly. You do a HTTP request to an API and then get back that response as C#. So it's kind of weird. ASP.NET Web Pages is a project type. ASP.NET is the entire ecosystem for doing .NET development for the web. And then .NET is the entire ecosystem for doing .NET development. Yeah, I hope I explained that decently. but Blazor is also a project type. Yeah, so all of the web technologies are ASP.NET, and Blazor is one of the web technologies. So if I go to, for example, File New Project, and I type in ASP.NET, you can see that there is this ASP.NET Core web application. And this is the one that you can do as a this is the one that gives you Razor pages. Another version of an ASP.NET web application is an MVC application, which is this model view controller one. So you may be familiar with MVC as a project structure or a pattern. And so Microsoft have made it into an actual project type. So again, this is one where use ASP3. Yes, you could use ASP Classic with web pages, or web forms is what I meant to say. And hi coding with Scott. Thank you so much for bringing Jim here, for recommending Jim. Jim showed up if you didn't see him earlier. But yeah, so the other confusing part about .NET is the way that they released their frameworks was they started with just like .NET and then .NET Framework. So it was like ASP for your web applications, and then ASP.NET, which is ASP2, and then there was .NET Framework for a while, and then ASP.NET Core, and now it's just all simplified to ASP.NET 5 is when it started. ASP.NET 5, 6, 7, and up is what it's going to be from now on. Until they decide that they want to name it something different. Bank status. Nice. So this is one of those technologies, this MVC project type is one of those that when you click on a submit button, it submits it to your controller, and then that controller usually says either redirect to the get version of the page or just return the view with the invalidated model or validated model or success status or whatever. Blazor is you can do everything on your page without needing to refresh your page at all. In fact, you only have one page in your application, and everything that looks like a route. So when I click on this link to this page that says data entry, it's actually just replacing the content of my DOM with that page and then pushing it to history as a current state. And so there's nothing that actually went to the server when I did that. It's all running in the browser. And I mean that literally because I don't have any services hooked up to the back end to do any API request type stuff to maybe get like the list of accounts that you've added. But you'll see that later on when I start adding that. Yeah, it's like this currently is purely client side. If my server wasn't running, then I would still, actually, I should be able to show that. So I just stopped the application. And I'm still able to navigate around. I'm still able to do stuff. I can add line items. And it's still doing all of the maths in the application. So it is entirely running on its own. And hello, Motita Sugoi. Sugoi. Hi. What times am I streaming? 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, Monday through Friday, except Tuesdays. Starting next Tuesday, my schedule is changing for Tuesdays. My meeting got moved to an hour long as opposed to 30 minutes, so I am moving everything over. What? What is that coding? What's that in cup of tea time? I think that is 5:30 your time. You know what? You can just do bang UTC. So whatever an hour and a half ago is. Cool. 5:30 to 7:30. Wow, I actually did that math right. So weird. I have no idea what's going on. But anyway, so you can see that the the Blazor app, when running in WebAssembly, continues to run even when the server is stopped, even when the API server is no longer running. That you can also set your application up to have full offline support so that you can do even more than just stay on the page that you're on or route to different pages. But you can store things like, let's say that I was on this page and then I lost internet connection while I was entering a lot of. Oh, you're MDT as well? Oh, man. So I don't know if you heard me say it earlier, but I'm in Denver, Colorado. But yeah, if I actually hit submit for this and it tries to submit and I'm offline, then I could push the data into the browser's local storage or into IndexedDB is most likely where I would put it. Y'all are the only two people in the world in Mountain Time. So just about, like, there are so many people on Twitch that are in Colorado. It's crazy. You two and the person in Montana, I think. Eagles are also on Mountain Time. They very much are. Oh man, we have so many eagles at the arsenal. We didn't get to see a single one last time we drove around the arsenal or the wildlife refuge. Coding Garden is, yep. Um, Captain Commerce is from Colorado. He's about 40 minutes away from where I live. Um, but yeah, what I was saying is you would push it to IndexedDB, and then your application would have functionality that says check to see do we have internet connection. You can push the refresh button, but I'll check every like 5 seconds. Um, I'll show you an example real quick. Test has track. So I made this app while I was working at the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, and it uses offline support. You can see here that it is installable. Sure, yeah, that's fine. It's installable as a progressive web application, which means that I can launch it from my computer. Yeah, cool. So you should be able to see it. Has track. And it'll launch in a Chromium shell. Oh my goodness, just drinking. And so this application is set up to, when you first launch it, it goes to the server and downloads a bunch of lookup items so that even if you're offline, so if I disconnected, if I went to network and said, I has no internet, and I tried to click on add report, then I still have my full list of drop-down data, which this thing would fetch from the internet. So you can see here all of these errors that I got where it was trying to fetch. But I still have all of my drop-down data because that's all coming from my local storage. So that's stored offline as part of the app download. And then if I were to go through this whole thing and submit, then it would store that new record in IndexedDB local edits. And then when I do restore my internet connection, it would say you still have some items in local edits. So I'm going to push it to the server, and then it would remove it from local edits and push it to the server and save it as a new record. So lots of really, really cool things that you can do with Blazor Progressive Web Apps, Blazor WASM apps. So that's something that you cannot do with Blazor Server though, where if you disconnected from Blazor Server, so let me show that one real quick. So I usually run both Blazor WebAssembly and Blazor Server projects side by side because they use the same UI and all of the same logic. So there isn't anything extra that I have to do if I'm trying to run using Blazor Server. But you can see here that I have a Blazor Server app there. CD. There it is. Done at watch. So again, same experience. I have the exact same UI. Looks just like my WebAssembly version of the app. So if I go into data entry, if I'm scrolled up, then they look exactly the same because they are the same. They're using the same UI, except that this one renders on the server, and the server is the thing that when you interact with something that changes your C# data, it actually happens on the server. And then the server just sends small signal R packets to the client running on the, not the client, but the, the user's browser, and it says update your DOM to look like this. Here's the diff, so make your DOM look like this. So for example, if I change this to checking, then there was a really small message that was sent to the server that says, I selected checking, so update your C# variable that's holding the value of account ID to checking. But if I were to disconnect or to stop that app from running, then suddenly we can't connect to the server, so I have nothing telling my UI how to update or how to operate even. So the entire app breaks. And so that's why a lot of people really like Blazor WebAssembly. It puts all of the heavy processing and animations and all of the nice interactive content on the client. A lot of people don't like it because it ships DLLs to the browser. And that would be cache here. So these are all of my application's DLLs that are associated with the client side of the application, with all of the pages that run. Maybe there's special logic that I do when adding line items or when I'm displaying these things here, and I'm doing that logic inside of one of my components. So that can be reverse engineered, and people don't like that. But that's why you never put any logic that's like company secret or whatever in your client-side code. That all just stays on your server or in your backend API. So the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, Jib is asking what it is. It's a place that I used to work. I started there in 2017, and I worked there until May of this year. And it used to be a place where the Army manufactured chemical weapons for World War II and a little bit after that. And so what happened is, because there were so many chemical weapons that were being manufactured there and then disposed of there, which means bury all of the chemicals underground and hope everything is okay. And then another company bought part of the land and started using it for manufacturing other types of chemicals like pesticides and I can't remember what else. The entire area around the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, so do we have a maps? The entire area around the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, so this is the arsenal right here. Everything up here, Commerce City, northwest of the arsenal, and then this area, they were all experiencing environmental issues. So animals being born with multiple heads, lots of just random animals dying, crops and fields getting completely destroyed. Just really, really bad stuff was going on. So the EPA was like, this needs to get cleaned up. Um, so there was this massive Superfund site effort where teams were sent out to set up treatment plant facilities and water monitoring facilities and dispose of the chemical weapons, break them down into their non-hazardous parts, and then the parts that did have hazardous material, send them off to a better handling site. And so that all like got done between like 1990 and 2000. So the only thing that the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, the staff at the Rocky Mountain Arsenal are doing now that are in charge of this part is making sure that the water quality is still good, that there are no contaminants leaking outside of the arsenal. It's getting treated before it leaves the arsenal, before the water leaves the arsenal. They do soil sample checks. Yeah, so they go out and sample. So all of the applications that I worked on for them were geared around making sure that the treatment plants were all functioning properly, that the chemicals within the water are at acceptable levels, and then displaying charts and graphs so that they can generate reports and stuff like that. The one that I just showed, that PWA one, is as an employee or just someone at the arsenal, you're walking around, you see a hazardous situation, whether it's someone tripping on something or a trip hazard, or it's actually a contaminant spill, or it's someone doing something positive. Like I saw this person pouring salt on the sidewalk and trying to scrape off the ice to make sure that people are walking safely, and so they want to recognize them for that. It gets put into that system. There was one other thing that I wanted to say about it. Oh, maybe two other things. So I don't know if you could see that, but this is the National Eagle Repository. So any eagle in the US that is found dead anywhere, whether someone hits it with a car or someone poaches it or whatever, gets put in a box, shipped via USPS to the arsenal, and the remains get processed essentially at the Eagle Repository. And by processed, I mean they literally take the feathers off, clean them, they clean off the bones, and then they can issue them to local native or national native tribes even, who would request them for rituals or for whatever they use them for. So I thought that was cool. The other thing that they have here, inside of the same building as the repository, is the, what is it called? I don't even know what the section of it is called, but whenever animals, not animals, but just illegal wildlife paraphernalia, so from poachers, what is the positive side of the arsenal? I'll tell you that in a second. When poachers bring in illegal animals, or just, like taxidermied tigers that are protected species or whatever, get brought into the US and then they get stopped at whatever airport or wherever they get stopped. Those come here as well. The big one that we used to have was a large amount of elephant tusks. And so what they did with those elephant tusks is, because they wanted to discourage people from poaching elephants and trying to make money off of elephant tusks, is they put them in a what are those called? It's pretty much like a wood chipper, and crushed them into small pieces so that they became worthless. And they eventually disposed of them, but they had a large amount of those. Yeah, just a lot of a lot of illegal wildlife paraphernalia got sent there. So the positive side of the arsenal, it is now so clean. It got cleaned up so much that it is a wildlife refuge. We have 1 million different species of deer there, a few coyote species, lots and lots of buffalo. So it is a major national park or national refuge that is frequented by a lot of visitors. So many eagles on here. Let me see if I can find one of my favorite pictures that we took at the Arsenal. Uh, I won't take too long, I promise. And that would be in here. Show me some Colorado pictures. RMA and Colorado miscellaneous pictures. There he is. Boop. So this thing was sitting on mile marker 5 on the Wildlife Refuge Drive. So you can drive around it. There's this, if you're interested in knowing anything actually about the Arsenal, there is a audio tour on Spotify that can tell you all about it. I don't know. I think it's just a kestrel, but it could be an eagle. I don't know what type of bird it is either, but I thought it was awesome. Um, that's an owl. I didn't get. Oh, no, that's an eagle. Two of them, just looking at me like, what? What do you want? What do you want? Um, there's the owl. Oh, I love this owl. We got to see it so often when we were driving into work. Oh, I miss that owl. Not sure what type of bird it is, but it is like jigging. And then there was this baby fawn that was just laying in the grass outside of the place that I worked. This is what it looked like. This is the window for my office when I used to work there. I don't know why I took a picture of it, but it was. Um, okay. I don't know where my buffalo pictures are though. We would, on occasion, encounter a ton of buffalo just sitting in the middle of the road. And like the last time that we went there, I do miss driving through the Arsenal, but we can go back anytime we want, so it's not that bad. The work was pretty fun, but as I mentioned, like right when I was getting hired and I came to the office, the last actual developer that had been working on maintaining their applications left. And a new junior developer started. He was actually a help desk person that had never done software development before, and I came on as a senior application developer. So I needed to learn about their applications quick, and there were like 12 of them. 3 of them were desktop applications, 4 of them were desktop applications. The rest were JSP applications, and so I took them from JSP to MVC and then eventually brought them all over to Blazor. And so I was still maintaining all of those projects while getting paid the salary of half of a dev, essentially, which I was okay with because I really enjoyed the work. I enjoyed the freedom of it, and I said this over and over, and I still mean it. It was a great experience. It was fun. But close to the end of the contract, which was last month, I think, I started looking for work elsewhere because I wanted to grow. I wanted to increase my skills, work on a team of developers, have more industry standards that I can follow. And I got approached by a couple places at the same time. Sajeti happened to be one of them. I interviewed for them. I was like, my values line up with your values. I'd like to try it. Live coding was like, watch out. A couple other people too were like, watch out. Consulting firms will chew you up, spit you out. They don't care about you. They care about getting as much business as they can, which I am seeing is true. But thankfully, I got put on a project right away in a technology that I love. The client is really happy with me. We have good communication. The team that maintains the existing app is really cool. The code base is not that great, but it's still fun. And I've really enjoyed working. So I feel lucky to have gotten this opportunity. But I was really only looking to try to move to another place, like Microsoft at the time. I guess Microsoft was the only place that I was targeting, and that's because I wanted to be a part of a team that creates products for developers. But I don't know. They're not really that interested in me so far. Um, Thindle says, I've been consulting my entire career and I love it. Awesome. Yeah, the thing that I was excited about with Sagetti is the opportunity to work on different types of projects. Um, and since I am a salaried employee, it's not like I have to worry about not getting paid. It's just if I ever am between projects and I can't find one, then yeah, maybe I won't get a bonus or something like that. But I will still get salaried and I'll be able to use that time for training and for increasing my skills and just learning cool things. Hello, Science Streams, another fantastic streamer hopping in. So Thindle, Coding with Scott, and Science Streams are all streamers. If you don't know them, definitely check them out. Coding with Scott hasn't streamed that much, but he has streamed. Good times. I think that's all that I have to say about that, unless you have more questions about it. 12:25 Mountain Daylight Time, that is correct. So time flies on this stream for some reason, even though it's not like, super productive time. I hope you guys get something out of this. I definitely do. I enjoy being around you guys. I enjoy talking with you. Doing a project for 6 to 9 months or so, learning a business area and how they work, and then moving to the next one is very fun, in my opinion, says Thindle. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm excited about that prospect. I've before coming to the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, I worked in human resources for Department of Defense as an information systems specialist for 14 years. So I was at essentially the same job from when I truly began college up through graduating, and then for 5 years after graduating. 8 years after graduating. I know, phone. I know. So then I was at the next job for 5 years, 2017 to May of this year. So it's like I've really only experienced doing the same type of project for long periods of time. And so this was just really, really appealing to me. The fact that I get to work on this project, which is using the latest .NET technology, which I love .NET. I got to make a Maui app that is cross-platform, and I got to modernize their application, and I love doing application modernization, which, by the way, is what Thindle is currently working on. So he's also a .NET developer, if you want to check him out. Yeah. So then I turned my streaming into this. And yeah, it's been fun for me. I'm hoping we're gonna get this. So my goal with this project, this will be what I end with for now. My goal with this project is to work through it with you guys. It is open source, so you can check it out on GitHub. I'll do project again because that's the link directly to the GitHub for it. You can contribute to it, but I would prefer that you wait until after we get this first iteration done, which this is day 32, and we're only on the second step of doing UI type stuff, but that's okay. We'll get there. But the whole goal is we're doing it in Blazor Web. Then we're going to take that project and show how easy it is to take that and put it into a desktop, mobile, and TV native application, essentially, or watch, I guess, native application using Maui. Yes, using Blowy. Just to show that. And hopefully, by that point in time, I will have the AR and VR experience, so we can also have some kind of companion app, or maybe remake the app for running on HoloLens, for running on a Magic Leap, or on anything, and you'd be able to manage your finances in spatial computing. The other thing that I just learned about yesterday, I can't remember who brought it up, or maybe it was today in Layla's stream. I can't remember who brought it up though, but there is quantum. Yeah, it was in Layla's stream this morning, wasn't it? Q sharp. Q sharp for quantum development. So it'd be really cool to find out what we can do with that as well. Um, yeah. So anyway, that's it for me for today. Monday, no stream because it's a holiday in the US. Tuesday, I'll be back, but it's going to be later in the afternoon. So Tuesdays probably won't work for a lot of you that are in the EU. It'll be around 8 o'clock your time, most likely. Um, yeah. So that'll probably be too late. But that's when I'm going to do Tuesdays for now. Yeah, 8 o'clock in the evening for you guys. 1 p.m. for me. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll just try to move it earlier in the morning, depending on how my meetings end up panning out. Um, yeah, we'll see. It's Labor Day on Monday, but that's gonna be it for me. I need to get back to work. I am on the clock, and as of right now, I am back on the clock, so I will be doing my job. I'm gonna be in the voice channel, community voice channel in Discord until Solipsis starts streaming. But other than that, that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend, and I'll see you the next time that you come by. Yeah. Ciao. Tschüss. Bye. Shalom. You're glad that Coding with Scott mentioned me? That's awesome. Well, I'm glad that you came. Glad to have you here. See you later. Still waiting. I do this a lot. I wait for like 6 hours, and then I turn the music up. Sometimes I turn the music up after I turn my camera off. Then I turn my camera off. But of course, those of you on YouTube won't even hear the music. Speaking of, my videos will be posted on YouTube 24 hours after the stream. Okay, I'm done talking. Bye.